Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Legend. So as you've probably guessed at this moment in the video, a lot of people were asking for Necrophages in the comments of the last one. I think these guys are pretty fun. I remember them being a little bit more, a little bit simpler. Might be good for us, especially if we can actually get the bug war machine rolling and just kind of like conquer a whole continent. That will restore a little bit of my confidence, which is something that I desperately need at this point. So, the Necrophages are all about recycling, right? You look at this face right here, and you think, that dude cares about the environment. So the deal is, every time we kill a unit in battle, we'll get to throw its corpse in a big pile back home. Sorry, it's not every time we kill a unit. Every time a unit dies in a battle that we're a part of, as long as we are not wiped out in the battle. So we'll carry home our own dead and the enemy dead. We'll throw them in a big pile in the capital. And every time we get 8 bodies in the pile, it turns into a stockpile, which we can then eat. Necrophages, it's right there in the name. So we can get food stockpiles from battle, which is important because we are agriculturally challenged and not good at getting food from the terrain. We have this Rising Dead Dust Eclipse effect. Recycled stockpiles also create a Battleborn in the target city in addition to the food bonus. Oh, weird. Okay, well just, animating forces bring to life some of the corpses in the great heaps of flesh. That's horrible. That's really gross. We have Cellulose Mutation, which decreases the cost of building districts. We burrow out a little bit faster. We have additional food per citizen for each village in a region. So getting those regions that have multiple minor faction villages is more important. The Fast Epimorphosis, which of course increases our health regeneration. Obviously, everybody knows that's what that set of words would mean. And we can never, ever be at peace or allied with anybody. Cold War or actual war all the time. No diplomatic technologies, no bribe and talk technologies. We cannot talk to the minor factions and get quests from them. Everything is conquering and murder, but we're pretty good at it. And we have the Will of the Hive. For each other player that we are at war with, all of our units get 10% attack. On the lower difficulties, you can just go to war with everybody and have your units just steamroll like crazy with this bonus. Obviously on this difficulty, if we're at war with 2 players, that is a desperate fight for my life. But all of our units have 10% more attack than it looks like they have, basically. That's still pretty okay. We'll worry about our unique techs when we're actually in the game. And we get to start with the Alchemist Furnace and the Necrodrone. So we get our secondary military unit right away. So we'll have access to Foragers, which are normal infantry. And they're pretty good. And they have the Disease. We'll talk about the Disease a little bit once we start fighting people. And we'll have access to Necrodrones, which have really great stats for an early game unit and can fly right at the beginning of the game. I think we're good to go. Let's do the thing, shall we? And these guys are incredibly satisfying to play if you can get rolling. Once you get the proliferators, these things, the endless tide of Necrophage war is really neat. Oh, hey, I forgot. I was going to mess with the world gen settings a little bit and maybe take us off Pangea. Oh, I'll worry about it next game. I do think that, in general, the games produced by maps that have multiple landmasses on them are a little bit more interesting. And also, I really like the ocean play that was added in Tempest, even if it is another arena in which the player is disadvantaged on high difficulties. It's still fun. It extends the part of the game which I like the most, which is that the early exploration phase. You're just finding what all the cool stuff on the map is, and then you get to do it again in the ocean. You get to figure out where all the fortresses are and what kinds of neat stuff they can give you. And then maybe if you're very, very lucky, you can actually get a little bit of it. Come on, game, work with me. I was trying to vamp, but there we go.
They were born as one, they fought as one, and they died as one, driven by their hunger. But I hunted for something more. I stole the sentience of an ancient power and saw a greater purpose. For we were the first. Auriga is our planet. And and I will turn our hunger against those trespassers who would take it from us. One day we will reign supreme on Origa, and we will gaze up at the stars, still hungry.
You know, it's never really struck me before. It hit me fresh here. How much of the story is being elided there in that moment? He's just like, bad stuff happened to the Hive, and then I stole the sentience of an ancient power, and we're just gonna keep rolling. But, like, I want to hear about that stealing the sentience of an ancient power part. That sounds like a neat story. Okay, so as you can see, we're bad at getting food from the environment. Any tile that would produce food produces one less food. That said, this is an interesting starting location. See, any tile that produces food effectively only produces 2 points of resources for us, which is rough. Let's have a look around before we make any big decisions. So, the Forager is a pretty straightforward infantry unit. It has good attack, good defense. The damage isn't great, but the damage doesn't need to be great, because Necrophages. The disease will solve that problem. Okay, look at that. Is that what we're doing? This location has 2 food natively, but look at all the industry. The thing is, we kind of, I think, want to minimize the number of food tiles in our starting group, and that probably seems counterintuitive. It's certainly a strange way to do things, but for every food tile we have in our starting 7, we are effectively down a point of resources relative to all the other players, right? So that makes me kind of want to settle here. There are only 2 food tiles. We'll bring in food from buildings and stuff. Obviously, people can work food, and we're good at getting food from our citizens, working our cities. The other thing we could do is we could settle up here. Here we get the river. So, like, these tiles naturally have an extra point of resources on them, because river adds 1 food on top of the 3 resources that were already here. So, even with our penalty, we still get 3 points, and then, of course, we can build the buildings to take advantage of the river. The titanium, and then the steel stalks, this is pretty good. Steel stalks, of course, have approval on them, although the Earth Tower also does. This site has 20 approval on it, which is pretty crazy. I'm pretty torn here, actually. So let's, like, what are we looking at? 7866, that's fine. 2, 14, 15, 4. I wasn't even really thinking about that, but yeah, that is a lot of science, isn't it? Our population will not grow super quickly, but we'll have the ability to research seed storage and then build the seed storage. So, I guess that's something. Yeah, okay, let's do it. I do want to disconnect our hero, though, first. Have our hero go here, the hero can hit this, and then hit that, and then next turn maybe loop around down here, I don't know exactly yet. But, lots of XP for the hero. Now, I'm not sure whether this is a combat hero or a governing hero, so we're going to have to figure that out. We'll definitely get working on this. We probably want to keep working on food here, like, otherwise we're never going to get any population. And I think I still want the mill foundry, even though food's kind of desperate for us. Just, like, the mill foundry is so important. So you can see the technology that usually gives you the parlay action, just, like, completely not here. We can look at our unique techs real quick while we're in the tech tree, looking at them in context. So we can get a tech in Era 2 that dramatically reduces our military upkeep in case we're having dust problems, as we have been. And, to be fair, we settled in a pretty low-dust location here. Although, obviously, with this faction, with almost every faction, you can just fix it by settling another city in a location that has the thing you're missing. We can also research the ability to sacrifice our population in crazy rituals to give extra approval for a while. I don't really love this, but I can definitely see situations where it would be useful. And, real quick, let's look at our initial legendary deeds. To be the first to activate 4 luxury boosters in order to get the 130 die. That would be nice to have. And be the first to destroy 10 armies in order to get this reward. Like I said before, I don't think of this as a thing a player can do, but it did go pretty late last game. Maybe I am misevaluating it. We're going to want to limit the amount of time we spend split up at scouting like this, because we really do want to start fighting minor faction villages like right away. So who knows, if there was ever a game where we were likely to accomplish that 10 armies thing, this is it. So the question is, am I sending the hero back down south? No, let's actually use him to see what's up here. We'll have this army come and get that. Okay, so we got 40 dust between the two ruins. It's, you know, it's fine. Is there anything else we need to do? There's so much stuff you do on the first turn in Endless Space 2 that when I finish my first turn in this game, I always feel a little, feel like I'm forgetting things. Okay, so we probably want to get our Founders Memorial. Honestly, I might build the Mill Foundry. I might start the Mill Foundry in 2 turns the second it becomes available, because I do think it's very, very good. Especially in the early game. Okay. Unease riddles the nest. I can feel it everywhere. In the hurried footfalls in the tunnels, in the huddling, in the lingering in the fungal gardens. They doubt me. The sifters, the burrowers, the soldiers, even the blasted groomers, get off! They all doubt me, and their doubt seeps into my chitin. I sit in my lair, fretting, while above hind legs grow bolder, nipping and harrying and slicing at our tracks. Enough! I must erase these doubts. But how? Doubts bite deeper than any jaws. Full bellies, yes, full bellies will give them solace. Otherwise they begin to eye one another hungrily. Otherwise the weak will be ripped apart by the strong. That can't happen. That mustn't happen. We will attack the hind legs. Tender flesh from my hungry brood. But tender flesh protected by coats of steel, defended by spiked arms. They'll stab and slice us, but the price will be worth it. My brood will feed. My brood will gain confidence. We will grow. Yeah, it's all going to be like that. I hope everybody enjoys being the monsters. So, with a main army composed exclusively of necrophages, win 3 battles. Actually pretty easy to do. Our units are pretty good at fighting. So we have to decide how much do we want to look around before we group back up and just start munching. And I think the answer is not that much. We probably should group up, like, real soon. Obviously, though, it is also valuable to get quests. Okay, build extractors for luxury goods to get better at extracting those luxury goods. We don't see a source of tier 1 luxuries in the home region just yet. You know, this isn't really necessarily a thing we have to pull everybody for, because we do have access to our militia. I'm gonna send this guy over here. So we have Eresis in our home region. That's a thing we're going to want to deal with quickly. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to have the hero walk up here a little bit. Just kind of get some vision around. And then I'm going to move the hero down to the right a little bit and initiate battle with this guy on this village next turn. We'll let the militia do most of the fighting. I like this high science start. This is good. You know what? Actually, yeah. Let's go ahead and buy that out and then work on the mill foundry. That'll help us get our population rolling a little bit faster. Okay, so if we were to attack from here, I just need to move down 2 spaces. Is it better to attack? It's probably best to attack from here. So move the hero down to there. This should be very easy. Now, Harmonite are tough. Beam and slow. In a lot of ways, they're very similar to Rumblers. Higher defense. A little bit less damage, a little bit more defense, generally. Rumblers are pretty good units. So I think I'm gonna try to keep our guy here out of the battle. We'll go in with our hero, but mostly I want to use the militia. So they only have 1 movement, so you definitely don't want to move all the way forward. I mean, we can move this guy this way. Let's see if they split off. Because it might be the case that one of them comes down to try to fight him. Okay. So What I want is for... I don't really want the hero to engage first. But I guess we don't really have the option. So let's talk about the disease a little bit. All of the actual necrophage units, you can see our militia do not have it, although they do have immunity to it. All of the normal necrophage units have this disease capacity. When the necrophage disease gets onto an enemy unit and you put it onto them by attacking them, they start to lose health every round. When they die, their corpse kind of pops and spreads disease to every adjacent unit. All of our guys are immune to it. It looks like our hero actually doesn't have the disease capacity, which I did not remember. So actually, this guy's going to be a little bit more important than I thought he was going to be. Let's start in on this guy in this way, because this guy's not fast enough to move in and counterattack us at all. Although, you know what? We can also just have the militia get in on this. It's not like it matters if they die. Which sounds like a really harsh thing to say, but... yeah, I did not remember that the Necrophage hero does not get the advantage of the disease. Yep, just keep him from doing anything. Alright, we'll get through here. It's going to be a little bit tougher than it could be. We could have gotten a little bit luckier here in terms of what minor faction we ran into first. Oof, man, we're getting wrecked here. Alright. I'm going to have him back up, because he took a really hard hit there. And actually, this guy is also going to back up. And of course, these guys are disease immune. I should have I should have realized that. What with them being made of rock and everything. Yeah, okay. Our hero's going to have to go in one more time. I think we can just leave this guy on defense mode. Okay, that was lucky. We didn't take very much damage there. Yeah, I mean, we got to get rid of these minor faction villages around us to begin with, and that's 3 cadavers for the corpse pile, which of course is valuable. But it does suck to lose that much health that early in the game. And we got Eresis over here. Eresis are not nearly as tough, but they do quite a bit of damage. So I think we're going to wait here next to them. I'm going to let the garrison regenerate a little bit. And then we'll attack with the hero and the garrison. That probably will be enough to get that taken care of. And you need to keep looking for stuff to loot. Alright, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Remember, we are, in fact, this game, looking for more settling locations as well. I gotta get myself back into that headspace. This looks interesting over here. Hidden springs near a river. That's a lot of food, even for us. Over here we have some rumbling stones near a river. That's not bad. Yeah, we don't quite have enough information to, I think, pick out another settling location just yet. Alright, so our militia has regenerated. Did the ones? Yeah, the ones in the city also fully healed. So the militia will be a little bit more reliable at actually killing units here because Eresis are not nearly as tough. Do I want to pull this guy into the battle? I don't think so. I'm worried he'll die. But you see how quickly they're replenishing health? That extra health regen rate really does matter. It's very significant. Okay, so down in this region we have boasts. You know what would be really cool is if we could find some, like, eyeless ones or some Sisters of Mercy. You know, some minor factions that don't know how to fight. Alright, I think we got this. Fine Snakes are 48-30. They do have circular attack and sweep strike back, which is a little bit of a thing to worry about. We just have to be a little bit cautious in our approach. I think our militia should be able to handle them. They have 2 move, is that right? Alright, my guess is this one moves to here, this one moves to here. He gets stopped there because of the forest. He might move to here instead, though. So there's some chance that we actually do have the move range to attack this guy. It depends on how he moves. But if he goes where I think he's going to go, both of the militia are going to be able to hit him. Okay. He did something a little different than I was expecting, but actually it works just fine for me. So now the question is, do I want to expose my hero to them at all? I think the answer to that question is no. I guess I shouldn't do that because we don't know where they're actually going to be by the time it's their turn. I think our hero's going to do a little bit of strategic fleeing. Oh, he didn't quite get the kill. That's very disappointing. Alright, our hero's going to have to probably unflee a little bit here, because I think on this next turn he's going to be necessary to finish the job. Now, keep in mind, Sweep Strike Back is not actually circular. In this case, we can't take advantage of that because of the positioning of our units, but if I had a little bit more move and I could get to here and attack, we could spare the militia the damage. Really? You couldn't get that? That's disappointing. I have faith that you'll finish it off now, then. There we go. Absolutely worth it. 5 more cadavers on the pile, because our militia do count. This is an important early game strategy as Necrophages, allowing your militia to die over and over again. Unfortunately, it looks like that's probably the last minor faction village that is in combat range of the city. But I think we made good use of it. So, we have access to a stockpile. It's a slightly better than normal food stockpile. I think it does get improved by stockpile tech. I don't remember. But obviously 120 food in the city right this second would be cool. It would be neat to hold on to it long enough to get this bonus, but what we learned last game is that we can't necessarily assume there will be an eclipse before the first winter. And this is so much food. Yeah, that's a lot of turns worth of natural growth. I think it would be very foolish not to spend this immediately. Let's get that extra point of population. And we're about to finish cultivation. What is next? We have our military unit. We could go to the mercenary market, but it kind of seems like we're not going to have the dust to take advantage of it. And if we want to be producing units in the early game, maybe the smart thing to do is to get the ability to get the dust production to do that. Alright, 30 dust. I don't want this guy to go too far, because probably what's going to end up happening over here is we're going to start moving this guy back now. He can explore some stuff down here, and once he's in combat range of this village, we reassign the hero to one of them and have at this village with the 3 of us. By the time that happens, this guy will be back at full health, and the hero will probably be close. We can have the hero range out a little bit farther, since he has the ability to magically teleport. Okay, 5 more titanium. So now we gotta make a decision here. Our hero has the slavery trait, which increases the food and industry per citizen output in the city he manages by 1 for each pacified village in the region. So in our home region, that's just going to be 1. Obviously, that's not amazing. He also has army attack boost 1, so I kind of don't think he's super well suited to doing either of these things. I think Feeds on Bones is just kind of not a great hero. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm thinking maybe the smart play here is we go Necrotic Agriculture. After we use him to clear out some early stuff, we just put him in the city and help it grow, reduce the cost of units built out of the city. I think that might be the smart way to go here, so let's take that. We will want to pick up another combat hero then sooner rather than later, and I'm noticing that this is an interesting location. Look at the resource output over here. Not too much of it is food either. We're not really losing a lot of resources. Right next to the river. We need to get a little bit more vision up here, but this looks to me like maybe the next settle. It doesn't matter that the land is dry and cracked. We wouldn't be able to grow food in it anyway. So we have 4 to 24 turns left for the winter. It's possible that a seed storage built now will not get us enough, will not get us that much value pre-winter, but it's also possible that we'll get like 19 turns of this thing being active, right? Well, not 19, because we gotta wait for the mill foundry to finish, but you know what I mean. It could actually be active for quite a while. And also, with the flat food bonus from the hero and everything, the plus 15%, which does work during the winter, is still pretty good. I'm gonna risk it. I think that's the play here. Alright, you show me something. Okay, it's pretty clean up here, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was hoping for another anomaly nearby. Let's see, there's another minor faction village over there. Okay, this is very interesting. Holy crap, look at that location. Produce 40 industry in one of your cities and get free stuff. I love free stuff. Look at this. That's 4 anomalies right on top of each other with a life tree and another rumbling stones nearby. Like, this settle right here is very interesting. Honestly, though, like, these 2 tiles are 2-point tiles naturally, only 1 point each for us. And then a point of food being lost from 6 of the 7 tiles in the area almost makes this not better than normal. Actually, would this be a better settle? I don't know, but we need to actually produce some settlers, probably. We need to become the kings of this desert. We also need to find more dust in ruins. I could really use a little bit more early game dust boost here. Okay, so this guy's going to be in range for that battle next turn, which means this guy needs to start looping back around. Well, that's a ruin. Okay, 40 dust, helpful. I think we kind of need... We want to spend pretty aggressively here to get our city established. We have a really good start, and I think we should try to get as much distance out of that as possible. So... I guess let's head this way. Alright, next turn, these guys can't quite get in range to attack the city, so we have one more turn of looking around with the hero yet. Okay, only 2 turns to that, so we might get as many as 20 turns with it active. Okay, great. So we're gonna reassign this guy through teleportation, and then he's gonna be locked for 5 turns before we can reassign him to the city. Maybe a little bit longer than is ideal. Boy, there is not a lot of value out here. This is like a very low ruin area, it feels like. Got that cultivation going. We'll get the Empire Mint up soon, and I kind of think we want to just keep rolling resource advantage into Era 2 as quickly as possible. We do need to build units. We do need to get the ability to hire a hero. But, right? We just tear through this stuff. I think that makes sense. Even if you're gonna military focus, a lot of the Era 1 techs, like the Tier 1 strategics, are not really very good. Often it's a good idea to research your unit, but obviously we don't need to do that. Okay, so we can see this region is purple. We haven't actually met a player yet, which is probably fine for now. So these guys are both at full health. The hero is at like 2/3. That should be sufficient to take out 2 heiresses, I would think. So I guess you can actually be the guy who does the engage. Move you up here. We can exhaust the rest of the hero's movement then before teleporting. Since he's teleporting onto a unit that has 0 movement remaining anyway. Okay, that's close enough to do that. We have 124 dust to play with. Like, after seed storage... You know what, actually... No, sorry. Don't do that. Let's put the settler in front of seed storage. So, as is often the case in 4X games, when you're building a settler, you get no food from your city. So, it would be a little silly to finish the seed storage first. Let's try to get this going. I should have put him in front of the seed storage altogether, because we have a good location. It's a little bit of a shame that we're going to end up settling so very far from our home city, so we can't use the cities to defend each other. But I think this is strong. I guess we could settle over here instead, for the purpose of, you know, although these cities will still be far enough apart that they're not going to be able to join the same battle. And this settles toward a player. No, I like this one better. We don't see any player color borders or anything. Oh, we do. Okay, well, we're gonna... I mean, obviously, we're gonna get into conflict eventually. But I think we probably need to get that settler out. Okay, let's do this thing. So the heiresses hit pretty hard, as you saw. We have to be a little bit cautious with this. We don't want them both circular attacking on us all at the same time. Actually... How do I want to do this? Since we get to attack first, we don't have to worry about circular attack. I can just have the hero run up here, attack. This guy runs here and attacks. We just hold him in place while we wait for the other two. The hero has 3 move. Get the disease on this guy as quickly as possible, and attacking from this angle means that the hero won't be eating the sweep strike back. And you, with your 2 movement, end up here. I wish he had come in. I guess he would have ended up in this space either way, right? Alright, so there's your disease. It's a little awkward that our characters go in this order, because what I really want to do is have this guy move here. But this guy moves to here and attacks. And the hero, I would really love it if the hero was not going to get hit by the sweep strike back, but I guess it's not in the cards. We can at least move him over here so it doesn't happen again next turn. But we might actually lose some units here. This will move our faction quest forward, it's worth noting. You can just go ahead and attack. Oh no, wait, sorry. Oh, this is... I done screwed up. Because now there's no way for this guy to attack without this guy's sweep strike back. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Well, what we can do is attack like this. That prevents any sweep strike back shenanigans, and it probably kills this forager, but it gets the disease on that guy too. Oh, again, I'm just... Listen, I swear to you, at one time I had a brain. Okay, we narrowly survived. 3 cadavers for the big pile. And hey, we did this. So we got 10 grass silk, which is pretty cool, because we're at 80 approval, and grass silk is a tier 2 luxury, so it gives 10 approval when you use it. We get to push ourselves to fervent, which is great. Corpse pile is at 3. Okay. We had gotten exactly enough for a pile before. Alright, we probably don't want to go too far away, because we're going to have to start cleaning up minor faction villages around the capital, and we got to already start preparing for war. We're not going to be able to grow well without it. So I'm going to have this guy kind of sweep up through here, and then we'll send him home. And obviously in 5 turns, when this hero unlocks, we'll port him over to make him governor. Okay. 2 turns left on the settler. It does suck to lose one of your starting units early, but that village was of particular import because it is the one in the home region. We need to rebuild that quickly. And it probably actually is the case that we should get Mercenary Market soon. We're not too far off on Dust, and if we get lucky and we do get an eclipse before winter, we may be in good position to take advantage of it. Although, now that I say that, I don't actually see that many temple ruins. Like, there's this one here, but is that the only one that we have access to? I feel like we don't really have that many ruins in total, and a lot of them are the wrong kind. That's a temple ruin, okay. Oh, I guess this is too. These both are. Come on, Dust Eclipse. Oh, okay, Lust for Loot. That's interesting. Wow, that is a distance. This may delay our hero getting assigned as a governor. I don't think it's a bad thing, though. Pretty happy to see it. Ooh, this is compelling. Sprout a rock peel near a wizard stone. That's a high resource area. They're both approval anomalies as well. I'm still not 100% on this settler. I think it's over here. I'm not sure which tile, but a tile in this area. Yeah, that's probably right. And we'll just hope that whoever pink is, they'll make easy prey. So 15 spices right over there. Us pulling Lust for Loot here is actually really good because it's somewhat likely to lead to us having this, right? Sorry, this one. Yeah, 40 more dust. If we keep getting lucky like that, the what do you call it? The hero marketplace is going to be a good move. Also, there's gold right here. Yeah, that's also nice. We need to get ready to take advantage of that. So we need these 4 techs to move into the second era. And we'll consider other stuff later. So we're looping around back toward the home region, but obviously we need to see as much territory as possible. It's also especially important that we get this guy and the hero kind of moving in different directions now, because we have no idea where the next Lust for Loot ruin is, and it may be the case that reassignment is very important for taking maximum advantage of that. Sorry, I'm not even looking at our faction quest here. I also didn't read the horrible text. So we need to search this unspoiled ruin after gathering 10 glass steel and 5 gold. Well, the gold is easy enough to get. We actually don't have a source of glass steel yet, and this region doesn't have it either, unless there's some in that tile. Well, we'll figure it out. Alright, now let's read the really gross text. I know everybody will be bummed out if I don't. Sweet, sweet, sweet flesh. Right away with this. The nest thrums with fevered dreams, with faith, with belief. The workers scuttle with extra fervor, the groomers with purpose, the soldiers with mandibles high. The tunnels resound with the click and scratch of anticipation. Now is the time to hatch more plans. To be a race who can command the surface as we command the dark, we must evolve. I may have skipped... You know what? I skipped the text for the end of the last part where we introduced this hind legs who wants to work with us for some reason. Probably. You know, he just wants to be on the winning team. Figures he'll be the last one to get eaten. Good. It's a good survival instinct. The hind legs calls himself Ris al-Khali and tells me he is a scientist. I like to imagine the necrophage doing air quotes. One who studies the ways of things. His quest for knowledge has led him far from his birth race, and he has roved the surface of this great land, learning much. I led him through the teeming hive, hoping to awe him, even frighten him, but his eyes sparkle with glee. He speaks of strange chemistries, and wishes to study how hindlegs and necrophage differ. He teases me with ideas of a superior breed, marrying the best of both races. The other captives are more afraid of him than me. I don't trust him, but he may be a great boon to us. To begin his experiments, he needs special materials. I will ensure he gets them, and I will watch carefully. Alright, so we gotta get some glass steel. That may not be totally trivial. Do we see a glass steel deposit in Gulgi? That is... Oh, no, there's one in Memorias as well. Alright, well, we can get those. This region seems like it's going to be a little non-ideal for us because it's a lot of food tiles. This is an okay settle. I don't love that it's like super close to the edge of the region and a rock face and a temple ruin. It would be hard to grow. Could maybe come down here instead. Like, settling here, it's quite a lot of food tiles, I guess. It's all bad. It's all bad. We'll worry about it later. It's definitely not the next settle. Oh, there's a lot of ruins on the way to where we're going, which is awfully nice. I'm going to try to avoid meeting purple just yet. I do want to peek into their territory, but I don't want them to sweep down and destroy us before we are ready to rock. So once we get this rebuilt, we really do. We need buildings. Man, we need a lot of stuff. Obviously, we have to get the titanium mine up, and that probably has a higher priority than some of this other stuff. We could use dust to rush it, but I probably want to get a mercenary market move in first, especially if we're intending to assign this hero to a city. We need someone to lead the army. Alright, come on. Just find me a couple hundred more gold. That's all I ask. Okay, Dust Eclipse. Very, very good. Produce science in your cities. Sure. That'll happen. We love science. We're a very scholarly people. Okay, so you need to head in the direction of some temple ruins. Actually, the temple ruins by home are a good idea. These are temple ruins right here. Why don't you end your turn here? Because the settler is actually going to get to search some of these. So now we have a question. Do we actually want to settle before turn 20? Because if we settle before turn 20, it's going to negatively affect our empire plan. The cost of the Empire Plan is based on the number of... The cost of each tier of the Empire Plan is based on the number of cities you have, which I kind of forgot about. It's turn 13. We could make it to 40 to still take advantage of this bonus. We gotta put the city down. We have to expand pretty quickly with these guys, I think. Alright, so when the Dust Eclipse happens, we'll be able to search this and this quickly. Couple turns on mercenary market yet. Oh, you know what? I should probably move people off of industry, right? Because we need growth. Hopefully, we'll find enough dust here that we'll be able to hire a hero and still give thought to rushing stuff. Yeah, that's a really good start, actually. 75 more dust. Oh, it's beautiful. This really changes up the early game economic considerations of the early mercenary market. That was 90. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to have this guy step a little bit out of his way to grab the movement conflux. I guess there was one right here as well. Whatever. It's fine. Alright, come on, let the next Lust for Loot ruin be that one right there. Alright, Alright, so we got 15 spices. The next location is a place that we will warp to, probably. How many turns are left on your reassignment cooldown? None. We can do it right this second. Okay, we discovered a new quest in that ruin. Where is... Oh, jeez. Okay, well, we're not doing that. No breakwall for us this game. And as much as I like the idea of the unit cost reduction, I'm wondering if we should just even pour on even more food, because it's going to be a little while before he's back in the city. We might get another level, honestly. And unit cost reduction is going to be really important. Yeah. Okay. And we're going to move to here and definitely search that for 75 dust, and then... or 30 dust. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4... yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'd be 2 turns of movement for us to search that again. And we're right at the Lust for Loot Ruin, so... probably we just snap him back now to start the cooldown again. Unfortunately, that's going to slow this army, but there's another movement conflux for us, for us to grab afterward to fix that. But I want his cooldown rolling again as soon as possible. And we have these spices. We should probably use them. We should definitely fire this before we settle the next city so that we save on the stuff a little bit. So let's figure out exactly where this other city goes. Right here we're looking at 8, 11, 4, 14 with 20 approval. So that'll keep our Empire approval level generally very high. 6, 11, 5, 9 is not... that is not better. 6, 9, yeah. Yeah, this is right. This is good. Okay. So that is a next turn kind of concern. I'm going to pop the spices next turn right before we settle the city. I want that running for maximum distance through the city build. Are we still at 40 industry? No. With me having taken guys off, we are not. This is 20 influence, though. If we finish this off, we'll definitely be able to get the Empire plan we want. And it would take all 3 of them at the moment. Oh, that's right. We're getting a bonus from being fervent. So actually, there's a percentage modifier on top. Yeah. All right. Let's make sure we get that quest done before. Let's get this wrapped now. We'll move people back to food in a minute. Okay, so we saw all these. These are great and everything. If we had a stockpile to drop, this would be a cool time to do it. But I don't think we're going to generate 5 more corpses anytime soon. We kind of need to focus on building. As strange as that may seem to our necrophage sensibilities. Okay, so this is rebuilt. We just got ourselves another point of population, which is good. We also have 2 extra food per citizen working in this city, thanks to Call the Herd. Don't think too much about what that represents. Okay, so we got 15 gold as well. We'll definitely pop that. 15 glass steel to be had down here. That couldn't be more perfect, actually. And what was it? It's 10 glass steel and 5 gold. So that's awesome. That means we can actually spend gold right now. Get this boost rolling. Get this boost rolling. And we still have enough gold to satisfy the quest step. That's really, really great. A lot of things are coming up pretty Millhouse at the moment. So, pretty quick second city settle, and we're still fervent. That's a part of why I wanted to pop both of these too, is so that we would keep our approval up, even with the disapproval from that thing happening. And next turn we're going to get a guy from the mercenary market, but we can absolutely just rush the mill foundry right now. Now, in this city, the seed storage is a little bit less compelling, I think. Although, actually, maybe this is where the hero gets assigned? This is a 2-village region, although, of course, they're both Silics. We started in the place with the toughest minor factions of anywhere on the map, I'm sure. Yeah, we can afford to do that. We're still going to be real clear on mercenary market. I am not certain whether it is worthwhile to build the seed storage here. My guess is that it probably is not. This one should probably wait. I was just thinking, if we do assign the hero here, then the 15% from this might be good enough to justify it. Uncertain. Let's do the other stuff. Once we have these basic buildings up, we should probably... Actually, maybe we should just start building military units right now. No, we should get our most basic structures up. We need to build military units so that we can burn down the Silic villages, obviously. But we should do this first. Okay. And give me a couple more turns of Dust Eclipse. I need to take advantage of all this extra movement. So we definitely hit this. Another 75 dust. It's so good. We get our Lust for Loot here. Oh, hey. Hello, another player color. Alright. There's 80 dust and 15 emeralds waiting for us way the heck over there. We may not bother to finish Lust for Loot. But a lot of this was very good for us. Are there any other... There's Temple Ruins way over there. Yeah, we might be done with Feeds on Bones as a military hero. So in 3 turns, he gets to fulfill his calling. So let's go have a look at the hero marketplace, shall we? We're looking for somebody who can lead our armies into battle. Now, it is worth noting that if we take a hero like, say, Nala al-Jazar, who is soft and made of flesh, and does not have the disease immunity trait, we'll have to be somewhat careful because our hero is capable of catching the disease. The only way that would happen is them being adjacent to an enemy unit that has died, but it could totally happen, so we gotta be careful about it. Are Broken Lords immune to the disease? They are not, despite the fact that they are basically just living metal. The other thing I suppose we could do here, since we have so much dust, is we could buy a hero to use as a governor and still assign Feeds on Bones as a governor, and then in a couple turns buy another hero to work as our military hero. Because I'm looking at Wayrasigo here with Food Boost 2 and Industry Boost 3, and remembering that sweet, sweet Wild Walker's faction tree that is just tons of industry and reductions in the cost of buildings and then even more industry, and thinking maybe we should take this incredible dust advantage that we've been given and really just play it all the way to the hilt. I think that's what we should do. Let's get this dude. Get this dude into the capital. I think Feeds on Bones does make more sense in Tid because of the fact that there are more minor faction villages there. Yeah, Food Boost 2, Industry Boost 3 is just so good. He's such a good governor. He's going to have to watch his health very carefully. Okay, so we need a couple more. Actually, now that he's in the city, we can probably move everybody out. Yep, 40.9. Cool. Let's food focus and still get Delusion of Grandeur done. This is going really well. So I guess what these guys do now is probably run down here, because there's still, obviously, potentially temple ruins out there. Or we could run this way, but maybe we should do that, since we know for a fact that there's 2 temple ruins to be had over here. Tough call. Okay, never mind. Conflux over. What was the condition for... Just search those ruins with the things? Okay, let's have our hero be a part of that. Okay, so Arad is going to be done with its basic buildings next turn, and then I think it is, in fact, time to start building military units. We gotta reforge our army here. Now, unfortunately, It would be cool if we could wait till Era 2 in terms of, like, our hero, all of our units having an extra level on them and everything, but I don't think that's feasible. Also, we really have to hope we find another group of resources so that we can pop this off, because that would be a very cool thing to have. Well, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get one from the faction quest. This next step's going to be 15 titanium, but, like, whatever comes after that, perhaps. This would give us enough emeralds. Maybe we... That's so far away, and it's so deep in enemy territory, too. That doesn't feel like it could be right. Then again, we could, potentially... We're about to finish a couple of Empire Mints, right? So, like, we could buy our new military hero, create them as an army on Tid, and go for it. We'd definitely meet Pink, but, like, we're gonna have to meet one of our neighbors in order to put them entirely into our maw. Hard to eat a guy without meeting him first, you know? Alright, so here's a little bit more XP for our hero. Search the same unspoiled ruin after gathering 100 dust. Oh, that's a shame. We should do it. We're close enough to the city that I think we'll get the garrison for... I'm sure this is going to spawn battle, right? Hold on. I didn't actually read the text. Was there important text? There's not important text. Okay. Also, the grass silk has run out, so we are now back down to just happy. When all this stuff ends, we'll be at 70%, which is still happy. It's not a bad thing. We have the ability to assimilate Erisys. I actually like Erisys a lot as an assimilate, but I don't think that we should spend influence in that way at this time. Oh, it did not, in fact, spawn any bad guys. What it did spawn is a hero. I forgot that we were going to get a free hero. Well, maybe this is what we, maybe this is our military guy. Blood-curdling screams issue from the captive pits. But this Riss learns much. Already, the latest hatchlings show superior qualities. One day, this land will be ours. So, Riss Al-Khali has spawned us a guy named Karis that's getting a little too big for his britches already here. All the captives died, all except Riss. Agony wrapped itself around him too, but unlike the others, he came out transformed. Patches of chitin cover his soft hind leg skin, and only his eyes show the thing he once was. Oh, this is a little different than I thought it was. He has asked for a new name, and I have granted him his wish. He will be known as Karis. I never imagined a hind leg could show such chitin, such single-mindedness. Maybe his experiments mark our path to victory. Menials, fetch the hind legs! Every cycle I find myself seeking his company over the seething activity of my narrow-minded broodmates. His mind is as fertile as before, but now there is an edge of the untamed in his ramblings. What he truly wants remains cloaked in darkness, but I am beginning to think he does indeed seek nothing more than pure knowledge. He claims he can make us more numerous using materials held by the race known as the Vaulters, ancient enemies we've fought in the deep places for as long as the Giver of Remembrances remember. He has been held in the hive for long enough. Now I will test his loyalty. Let him lead a swarm. Ah, he comes. Menials, bring us some carrion. So we gotta level up Karis so that we can get a skill. Yeah, we'll get on that. So that guy's probably our military hero then. Actually, let's have a look at him. I saw that he had attack boost 2, and of course, slavery. All the same stuff as our existing hero. So yeah, he's marginally more suited to the goal. He also, I think, actually has better combat stats. Is that right? More attack, less defense. Yeah, it's close. I actually think this guy's stats are a little bit better. I really do like it when units have good damage. But the extra point of army attack boost will serve us well. So, we need to pick up Fast healer or no idle hands? What's fast healer? Times 2 recovery speed from the disabled state on hero, lowered cost of the instant heal on hero. Okay. The no idle hands is just XP for the units in his army. We'll probably go through Indiana Bones, which yes is the name of that the name of this skill. I don't think this is very good in general, but go through this to get no idle hands, and then from no idle hands into all the stuff that makes infantry heroes cool, like a billion extra life on your guys. So let's create him as an army on Tid. Get him out here running right away. Turns out we don't need to buy. You know, I'm really glad that we didn't buy another military hero. And you need, what, one more turn, 2 more turns? Okay. Let's see how feasible it is to get Karis over to here. How many turns do we have left on that? 7. We can definitely cross that distance in 7 turns. No two ways about that. Do I actually... We probably want to throw an improved movement trinket on him, right? How expensive is that to do? 30 dust? Yeah, that's worthwhile. We are a little bit negative now. We gotta watch it. We're going to complete a couple of Empire Mints, though, in quick succession. It's going to be winter any second now, so I think it's probably a good idea not to build the seed storage in Tid. Tid will get... Yeah, like that. Tid's about to get a boost, though. So we failed. Yep, I sure did fail that. Some pearls. Pull feeds on bones over to here. And we have... Oh, forgotten. Okay. So these are the sneaky ninja dudes. Not totally ideal. Also, this is bad. Not sure what I want to do about that. If we attacked him, we would get the militia. But I don't really like 1 hero and 2 militia against 2 Silics. That's a lot of damage. Try to buy a couple of turns and get the forager in place. Okay, we're gonna get this citizen next turn in either case, so I want to focus on industry a little bit here because we got to get some more units out. And we stopped having 40 industry here, so let's make sure that we get this done next turn, the turn that we need it. I guess we're gonna hit 40 in influence anyway. And it is just 40, right? Yeah. This would be really cool to take, but I don't think we can skip out on 20% science. We'll get the units built. 20% science is pretty powerful, especially since we have an unusually high base science value. That's going to be an even more significant buff than it usually is. How do I want to do this? I don't want to get attacked by these guys. We might have to wait for them to get out of the way before we try to head over. We could try to just walk around. Add a little bit of distance to the trip. We're going to have to keep a pretty close eye on him. Okay, and here we're finishing the Empire Mint now. Am I in a big hurry to build out more districts? Not really. Obviously, it'd be cool to get over here and to the river and stuff eventually, but that's pretty eventually. We should start building military units on this coming turn. Also, I note that we've hit the hour, so you know what? I'm gonna do a bunch of fiddling with military designs off camera. I think this is where we're going to call it today. If I do say so myself, a pretty promising start, I think. So thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time, hopefully a little bit earlier in the day, tomorrow, to see us roll like a wave over the cities of the Forgotten. That's hope in my voice. And we'll see you then.